Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Wellness Blueprints. I'm Jess Milner. So glad you're here to nourish your roots with me. Today, I want to talk about a big buzzword and it's detox. I want to talk about summer detoxes and how there are some big mistakes you can make in doing a summer detox that can totally backfire everything. And we're going to touch on how perimenopause plays into this too. So buckle up, ladies. This is going to be fun. So, all right, it's I can hardly scroll on social media without seeing something with somebody talking about some sort of detox. Sometimes it's people telling other people that detoxes are not necessary. Sometimes it's people telling them they need this detox, they need a parasite cleanse, they need a metal cleanse. We need to detox this and that. It's just going on and on and on. So there's lots of buzz going on about it. Yes, your liver, your lungs, your kidneys, yes, these are detox organs, and they have a job to do, and they do it well. But there are things, we get built up with all kinds of gunk, and sometimes it is very helpful for us to take some measures to help our body along, just make sure everything's moving smoothly. Because you take your health into your own hands, and that's what you do. Because you want to have that empowerment and harness all of that great stuff. So, but there are some things, summertime, it's getting hot outside. There are some things that we can do accidentally while we are trying to have a detox that can completely backfire everything. So let's chat about this, okay? So the first thing I'm going to talk about is extreme calorie restriction. So when you're detoxing, okay, your liver needs energy to detox because there's like all kinds of stuff going on in your liver there, okay? So crash diets can really be detrimental for this because they're not going to give enough they're not going to give enough out, and they're going to slow down your detox pathways and your digestion. If you're not like eating enough stuff, everything just kind of like slows down a little bit. When you're eating less, you're not, I've noticed like during fasting sometimes like it'll really slow down, right? Because you're not eating anything. Protein is actually crucial with detoxing out any kind of, toxins, so basically, amino acids, which is what protein is made up of, they conjugate toxins. They make them water soluble so that they can get the hell out. Okay, so if you don't have enough protein, then this isn't going to be occurring. Okay, it also you need glutathione. This is like your detox that that's what your liver produces to help you naturally detox. If you're not eating enough protein, you're not going to have enough of that. Okay, so that's going to be one of those things there. So you do definitely want to be eating more. I've seen people that are doing like juice cleanses in 95-degree heat because they're like training for a marathon or something like that. And that's not a detox. That's torture, So your body needs more than that, especially when it's freaking hot outside. Okay. All right. The second big mistake is getting into too intensive of a detox during the summer heat. Okay. So your body is already working super hard to stay cool when it's freaking hot outside. Okay. So you don't need to add additional stress by a super intense detox during the, like the heat wave of the summer where everybody's complaining that it's 105 degrees outside. Okay. Dehydration is going to slow everything down. It's going to sabotage all of your detox pathways. If you're not pooping, if you're not going to be pooping if you're, not drinking enough water. And, is the water even able to get into your cells and everything, So you're going to want to go for a more gentle support versus aggressive when it is like in the middle of a heat wave and stuff like that. Okay. Because that extra heat, your body's already stressed. And, like it does add stress. It just does. That takes me to my next thing. You don't want to ignore your nervous system. And that is another big mistake that people make when they are doing some kind of a detox. They're just like, I'm going to take these supplements, I'm going to do this thing and whatever. But detoxing is very stressful on your body. Okay. So you do need to pay more attention to what's going on with your body when you're doing stuff like this. So you don't want to plan your detox right alongside with all of the fun social summer crap you got going on. So, if you are going to a 4th of July party, a big barbecue thing or something like that, you're going to be wandering around, chasing around your kids. Maybe you're watching them swim. You're making sure that they are not, they got their hat on, making sure everybody's eating something. You're talking to people. You have to drive there. Maybe there's traffic. Where am I going to park for the fireworks? That is not a good time to be doing an intense detox because your body is already stressed out. So definitely plan it when you don't have as much going on. And that's another thing. You want to detox your summer schedule too a little bit. You don't have to say yes to absolutely everything. going to, I was saying 4th of July, which, I mean, there's probably going to be some get-togethers on that day. You don't have to decline that kind of an invitation or anything like that, but you don't have to say yes to absolutely everything every week. Every time somebody says, "Do you want to go to the beach? You want to go to the boardwalk? You want to go to the lake? You want to go kayaking? You don't have to say yes to absolutely everything, as much fun as it might sound, because the more you have on your schedule, the more amped up you are. It's just so much going on, and your body doesn't have time to relax and calm down. So detox that schedule a little bit, and then you might be able to find a nice little set of days that you are going to be able to better handle this, because your body's going to be less stressed out, more equipped to handle it. Okay. All right. So let's get into the hormonal aspect of this, okay? Because a big mistake you can make during the summer, or really during any time during the year, but especially in the summer, is you're doing a cleanse, a big detox during the wrong timing of your cycle, ladies, okay? So just like when you are going to do like a water fast, you don't want to do it at the wrong time of your cycle, because your hormones are going to freaking splat, okay? And you're going to feel awful. So, your follicle phase days like 1 through 14, 1 through 10-ish, 1 through 14-ish, you can handle something a little bit more intense then. That's like this, that's the same time that you could do, your water fast during that time, because you're not requiring quite as much food, so you can handle a little bit more, as long as, your schedule and all these other things are going on and doing okay. And then, during ovulation, just gently support the liver during that time, because the liver's doing a lot of things. There's lots of hormones that are, popping out and everything. And then your luteal phase, days 15 to 28, you want to be way more gentle then, because your body's doing a lot of work. Okay. And then of course, during your period, you want to rest. So you want to make sure that you're not, trying to detox a whole bunch of stuff, when you're just a few days away from when you're due to get your cycle, because that's going to be like a really stressful time on your body. You're going to end up having more stress with it. It may or may not be as successful. Okay. If you are trying to detox out a whole lot of stuff, and your body's already under all of that stress for other things that it's doing, then, you're not going to have the same results as you would if you did it at a time when your body is under less stress. So it's definitely something to consider. Now, as far as perimenopause goes, ladies, because this makes it even more exciting, right? To talk about anyway, right? All right, so it's just different. Perimenopause, menopause, things are getting different. So if you are estrogen dominant, for any reason, that's going to make your detox sluggish, okay? Because it's affecting the liver, it's affecting all, so hormones being affected. So that's going to, slow down detox pathways, and that's not cool. Another issue is, you may be having irregular cycles. That starts to happen. So you may not know exactly where you are in your cycle. So it might be a little bit more difficult to gauge, what is going on with your body. Is my body under a small amount enough of stress that I can handle this right now? Or is it just too much for it right now? It might be a little bit more difficult for you to gauge when you're kind of going, oh, okay, sometimes my cycle's 27 days, and sometimes, then I went like for 40, and you're kind of like sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, is this like PCOS coming back, or is it like actually part of perimenopause? It just gets more difficult to figure out, like, if you're at the right timing or not. Okay. Your adrenals are depleted during this time. So actually, when we start to go through perimenopause and menopause, our hormones are going to, like estrogen, are going to tank. And there's a lot of different changes going on in our female hormones, of course. Your adrenals are actually meant to pick up a lot of this slack. And your adrenals are probably already, I can tell you for sure, adrenals, liver, thyroid, they were like the biggest things that would come up as top priority in muscle testing when I was working clinically. And I think any muscle tester listening to this is probably nodding their head going, because like almost everybody, adrenals, they're stressed. So we have years and years and years, 4 decades plus of all kinds of different gunk and, emotional, this, that, and the other thing going on with our adrenals. So they're already under all of this stress and not really able to pick up the slack like they are supposed to. So that can really cause an issue as well, because if you're trying to do some kind of a detox and all of these things are all these glands and everything are already under stress, it's going to cause more problems. Okay. If you, if you do want to do something, it's kind of better to do like more daily natural detoxing habits rather than like an intense thing during perimenopause. It's not to say that you can't entirely, but we do need to be a little bit more smart, a little bit more gentle about it, prioritize sleep. One thing I will tell you, ladies, if you are doing any kind of a detox and you suddenly are experiencing hot flashes, that is a sign. It's a big red flag that it's a nope and you need to not be doing it right then. Okay. So definitely, especially if you're somebody who doesn't usually get them super often and you're doing it because yes, it's your body working and everything, but that hot flash itself, even though you're like, wow, maybe I'm just sweating all the bad stuff out. And I'm not saying you're not sweating bad stuff out when that happens, but it is a sign that your body is too stressed out to handle this right now. So you should back off. Okay. All right. So what are we at here? Let's go on to supplement overload. This is another big mistake that we can make. I have seen supplement protocols in general that are just, 2 or 3 supplements long. And I've seen some where we need another paper to staple to the first one. And even if you're testing for it, there's no way you need all of those things. And like sometimes I would look at the things and be like, is this person not eating anything else? But people want to stay on the things that they really like. So they insist on doing it. And most of the time when it's made out of food and stuff like that, it's not really a huge big deal. But when you are detoxing, you do not need all of that stuff. Okay. So more does not equal better when your body is stressed out. Okay. And when you're detoxing, your body is stressed. Your liver cannot process 47 supplements. It cannot. It's no. So you're probably not even going to get benefits from half of them, but it's going to just cause more stress because your body's like, what did you just give me? I've got to process all of this now. Okay. So it becomes an issue. And some of them can even start to create even more toxins because if things are not getting broken down properly, they can sit and deposit in different places depending on what you're taking and the quality of the supplements. Some of the time, if your detox pathways are not properly opened all the way, you could take something that works as a binder, which is a good thing to take during a detox, of course, but if you take certain things, it will bind it up and everything. But if your detox pathways are not completely open and everything, then it's not going to come out and it will redeposit in other areas. So, between that, you don't want to over supplement and you don't want to under protein and because you don't want those toxins to redeposit in other places. So, more is not better all the time, especially not when it comes to a detox. There are some detoxes like short-term ones that you can do that have some supplements and that's fine. But it's like 3, maybe 4 supplements. It's not like a ton of things and it's for a very short-lived period of time. And that's why I tell people to work with a practitioner because we're trained to be able to pick out these things, to know if it's the right time for somebody to do something like this, because we can tell you honestly, listen, and I can't make you do anything, but we can tell you honestly, I don't think that your body's going to be able to handle this very well. I think that we need to work on just opening, giving energy to the mitochondria and opening up these drainage pathways for the next month or so. And then we can work into a more intense detox later on. Because if you're opening up your drainage pathways and things, you are going to naturally detox things better because you're just helping your body do what it's supposed to do better. It's just functioning a little bit better. So you don't always have to jump right in with all of the crazy herbal, killers and things like that to go after all of the toxins right away from the get-go. Okay. You never know exactly how toxic you are until you start to detox and go, oh my gosh, what just happened? You don't want this like nasty Herx reaction. You don't have to feel like absolute crap the whole time that you're detoxing. And if you do it in intense heat of the summer and you're ignoring all of these things we've been talking about, you might have that occur and then have like a really bad taste in your mouth when it comes to any kind of detox or anything like that. So doing it right is really important, right? So the last thing I'm going to say that will backfire if you make this mistake with detoxing is forgetting about emotional detox too. We talked about detoxing your schedule. You also want to detox your emotions. Okay. So you don't like if you just detox the physical body without the emotional, the energetic body, it's going to be incomplete because your energetic body, your morphogenetic field, it holds the blueprints for your physical body. I don't know how many nickels do I get for how many times I've said that on this podcast. But that is the truth of it. So you don't want to be ignoring either one of those. And there, energy, the emotions, and even with body code too, because there can be all kinds of other things, misalignments and this, that, and the other thing that can be going on, like nutritional deficiencies and all kinds of stuff that can be happening that are contributing. Okay. And even contributing from an energetic aspect. So these things we can help to move. We can help to move out of there. So, we do want to make sure that we are removing things from your energetic flow so that everything can flow the way that it's supposed to. And then all of your organs are going to be able to work much better. And, when everything's flowing and not clogged up, then the rest of your physical stuff will be flowing and not clogged up. And you're going to be able to get rid of those toxins much more easily, much more efficiently. Okay. So, these, like I'm saying, these trapped emotions, these different trapped things, they're definitely going to contribute to blocking your detox from really being as awesome as it could be. So you don't want to be skipping that out either. So I'm curious if there's anything that you think that I have missed here. So go ahead and leave a comment, and please go ahead and give me a 5-star review and subscribe and send this to a friend, especially somebody who's been talking about a detox. Anybody who wants to get into something like that, we get really, really energetic when the sun comes out. So sometimes we're like, yeah, I'm going to do all the things. And it's important that we listen to our bodies and we are really in tune with our nervous system and with our emotions so that we can protect all of those things so that we can end up with the best optimal health. Okay. Because these things are super important and we don't want you feeling worse before you feel better. Sometimes that's necessary, but it doesn't need to be. And with the detox, it doesn't need to be. Okay. So that's not one of those times. You can definitely get rid of the stuff that you don't want inside of you anymore without it being a hugely painful ordeal. So let's strive for that. Right. I'm all about easy and happy. Right. So if you would like to book an emotion code or body code session with me to start and help get some of the energetic, all of that energy, the emotional energy moving and out, get rid of things that are not serving you anymore. It is, it is a great, it's rather surface level, but it is such an amazing energy work modality that I have so many people with so many testimonials. It's just amazing. I was just telling my, everybody on my email list the other day, about a guy that had he was having some like personal things that were with work and this, that, and the other thing. So we were just kind of looking for emotions. And this was, of course, it was done by distance without a call, and we were looking for emotions that were going to be, contributing, that were trapped, that were contributing to like, this conflict in general and like, how to handle this and everything. He was just having a hard time. So I just kind of went through and I was like, all right, what body parts am I going to find? So boop, 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 boop. And I found him released a couple of emotions that were in his shoulder. And, so I sent him over the report and everything. And then the next day he's messaging me, let me know. He's like, I don't know how you found it or like how this works, but you said something about, emotions in my shoulder, and I did my big workout today, and I always have shoulder pain for the last couple of years, and there was not a little tiny bit of shoulder pain there. And, so he was just like, wow, this was just amazing. And, he was feeling better about the work situation, and there was there's physical relief as well that we weren't even anticipating. It was just like this added bonus. So if you want to book a session, okay, I'd be happy to do that for you. My sessions are just $65 for an emotion code. So it's not even like a huge big expense. So go ahead over to deeprootedwellnessid.com and go in the drop down menu there and pick, book your emotion code or body code session. And I cannot wait to work with you on that. If you would like to download my Quantum Path to Wellness, that is totally free and it's my gift to you. So you can go to go.deeprootedwellnessid.com/quantum path to download that. So thank you so much for stopping by today. I hope that this was helpful for you. I hope that you are enjoying. It's not even officially summer yet, but I mean, I think we're all kind of vibing summer at this point with it being in June already. So I hope that this was enlightening for you. And please reach out if you have any further questions or if you want any help with detox, want any help with emotion code, you want help. Hey, listen, I'm your gal. I'm your crunchy mama on a mountain, your true health gal, and I'm here for you. So we'll see you back next time. Have a great week.